We will be starting soon. We're gonna wait for some of you guys to come on up in here. Hey, 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 how you doing this fine day? Struggle love. Was we taught struggle love? Or we just don't know no better? Do we just think that when we dealing with struggle love, that's just part of the relationship? Does that mean we going through the ups and downs? Or are we dealing with men who just refuse to grow up? Are we dealing with men that just refuse to grow up? I'm not really here to talk about Chloe, but I want you to see what a struggle relationship look like. That is what you call a struggle relationship. Was we taught how to be women in a struggle relationship? Was we taught that? Did we see like our mother put up with a lot of shit or a lot of crap and they still stayed in the relationship? So we assumed that it was okay. Hmm? Did we see her stay long in a relationship where she should not have done that? Hmm? When we seen daddy cheating and drinking and messing up, hey Spice, did we think certain things were just like plain old normal? Like plain normal. Hey, it's normal. Daddy gonna get in when he gonna get in. Mommy's crying again. Mommy's hurt again. Mommy's giving us extra hugs again, telling us how much she loves us because she's hurt. Mommy's arguing with daddy again. Is that normal? Do we want to what is the prize? And this ain't got nothing to do with man or woman. What is the prize for putting up with a lot of bull crap? What is the prize? He got older and now he done did everything that he can do to you. So now he's not for the streets. Let's check out some of these struggle relationships with these struggle bandits. With these struggle bandits has nothing to do with real good men. I'm not talking about you. Only if the shoe fit, wear it. If the shoe don't fit you, don't wear it. Do not come telling me nothing.
Obviously, the links pertaining to Khloe Kardashian was relating to her transformation back to the body that she would have had she not gotten a lot of work done We've already been seeing this with Kim Kardashian. We will see it eventually with Kylie Jenner, where you have these women who have been known for basically getting surgeons to create them a body that's like a black woman, only for them to continuously get the same black men and then try to go mainstream again. And so I'm going to talk about that for a little bit, but then I want to talk about this Tristan Thompson situation, because honestly, I don't care about Tristan Thompson and his community, Dick. I think that he's representative of most black men in this community, where they have no regard for a relationship, regardless of the race of women. They will sit up here and talk about how these non-black women are so much of their preference, and I'm going to keep emphasizing that, the way they talk about these women, how feminine, how pretty, how submissive they are. But then when they get into these relationships with them, we observe how they're getting the same black men. He may decorate her as the better woman, but he's certainly not going to be the better man for her. And the reason why celebrities count too is because they're just people. Tristan Thompson is a black man. It doesn't matter whether he was born in Canada. It doesn't matter whether he has a little bit of money. It doesn't matter whether he has some fame. The pathology is the same. Black men are the same, regardless to the plot of land they're on, or regardless to the amount of money that they have. And we know that because we see the same mentality and behaviors coming from them, regardless to the race of woman. So what I wanted to do is use this as an example. See, because a lot of people are saying a lot of things in this social space as we're trying to wake black women up. Many people think this is an issue of divestment. They think this is an issue of just stop having sex with black men. I personally think you should just stop giving birth to them. The herd needs to be thin. But if you don't do that, I still want to leave you with options, because at the end of the day, I already know that most black women want to be with black men. Now, even though we have this awakened movement, there are certain black women who, and rightfully so, are going to come to the conclusion that black men are not dateable. And if you don't come to that conclusion yourself, there's tons of data out there by both black and white scholars who have came to this conclusion as well. However, most black women still want to be with black men, and that's why they can't stay off their shows. They can't stop getting rated from them. You'll see them all in the comment section whenever they're praising a snow bunny for attention. So black women's actions show that by and large, they are very much invested in black men still. So this is a perfect example of when a woman lacks.
One of the most common combos that people do when they're taking Testro X is that they start stacking it with Redwood. And Redwood is our Umzu circulation support supplement. It's a blood flow support supplement. It helps you to get more blood flowing and throughout your body to all the right places. Now, a lot of people have blood flow problems that also have hormone problems, because hormone imbalance is one of the key causes of poor blood flow, poor circulation throughout the body. You want to make sure that you're supporting the good blood flow, because the blood brings the nutrients to all the right spots in your body. And now, if people have problems with, especially performance in the bedroom, which is one of the very common things that happens with hormonal imbalance, Redwood can really, really help to kind of supercharge your performance, both in the bedroom and in the gym, and your energy throughout the day, everything. When you have blood flowing to all the right spots in your body, you start to just feel way, way better in general. And that's why this is the most popular combo that guys use, especially guys. They stack Testro X and Redwood. So if you click through the next page, you can find Redwood, and you can stack them together. I firmly believe this is one of the most potent ways to overcome your men's health issues and naturally support your body so that it can restore you back to the prime health that you desire. I mean, it's an amazing combo. And there's a reason why when you read Testro X reviews or Redwood reviews, you keep hearing over and over, the guys are like, I was feeling great when I was using one of them. But when I started stacking them both together, it really took things to the next level. And they'll do it over, 2, 3, 6 months. And a lot of guys end up building habits using these things where it's just a part of their daily routine.
And how it doesn't matter how decorated she may be, It doesn't matter how accomplished she may be. At the end of the day, she still lacks standards and can have low self-esteem. And so I'm going to get into all of that. Of course, we're going to talk about this pathology of the three trash bag struggle bandits so you guys can be well versed on that. But before I get into it, I do want to give a shout out and say thanks to everyone who contributed to the content on this channel. If you want to contribute to the content, you can do so by emailing me. Don't DM me on Instagram. Don't tag me on Twitter. Don't send me a message on Patreon. Please email me using the email address. It's in the description box and pinned to the comment section. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. When you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell and subscribe to all notifications so you'll know every time I go live and when I upload new content. If you've been considering HomeFixInstitute.org, since we've known of this raggedy relationship and understand it is hella raggedy, since we've known of this raggedy, trifling, community dick-oriented relationship, we've observed Tristan lie, deceive, and publicly humiliate Khloe Kardashian. If he wasn't hugged up with some rando in the club, he was making side babies on her. Each time he would apologize to her and then go out and repeat the behavior. Because Khloe clearly has no boundaries, standards, or expectations, in my opinion, beyond his black philandering dick in the storyline, she continues to provide the world with excuses as to why she's with the same black man. All of those excuses have been centered around basically them taking a break after he cheated on her. This is what women do when they have no explanation with why they keep dealing with the same thing from the same man. And I was never one of those ones that you were just going to take a break on me so that you can go out and do whatever you want to. But I noticed that a lot of women do that. And I think that when women do that and they accept this disloyal behavior and creating other kids when they're so-called on a break, all it does is embolden that man to take more breaks so that he can go out and do what he really wants to do, which is be with multiple women and you too. But I know a lot of women end up dealing with that, not just Khloe, because didn't Gabrielle Union say the same thing about Dwayne Wade's baby on the side? She said they were on a break. Anyway, Khloe Kardashian being a preference and a Kardashian does not change her pathology. And I already told you guys the pathology of these women who don't really have a lot of value in their community. And if you look at Khloe Kardashian's transition and the fact that she was always seen as like the unattractive one, you can already tell her self-esteem has been in the toilet, and simply going to a doctor to have them do work on your body is not going to change your pathology. What she should have been doing is getting some life coaching along with that surgery that she was getting. And listen, I'm pro-surgery. Whoever wants to get surgery to enhance whatever, they should get it. But you should also work on the inside just as much as you're working on the outside. And that's clearly not anything that Khloe Kardashian is doing. She seems to just be lacking self-value. Even if she loves him, she seems to lack self-love. Even if a couple is on break, why does it allow him to do whatever he wants at that time and still have the option of coming back to you? This is one of the reasons he keeps doing what he's doing. Case in point, the reason for this video. So you guys, I got sent this video because some days ago, a woman went to a party and saw Tristan with yet another preference, despite the fact that he literally just confirmed that he had another baby on Khloe. We know he ran around talking about Marley Nichols was clout chasing and that the baby wasn't his, only for him to come back and then issue another apology to Khloe and say, oh yeah, the baby is mine. And I basically knew it all along, but I was just stalling for time. Now, that last bit, he obviously didn't say, but that's how he was carrying on. The bottom line of it is you just got done publicly humiliating her with this new baby that you got, and then some woman just spotted you in the club hugged up on the next preference. He's trying to get that September baby popping. That's what he's trying to do. But anyway, I want to show you guys these two videos from this woman, and when we get back, I want to pose a question to you and go over some comments that stood out to me, because there's a lot of discussion around this. This is trending. Whenever Tristan Thompson is trending, it's never for any noble cause because he did something to benefit a community. It's always on some trash. It's always on some community dick. I can't control myself. I don't have any self-discipline. So therefore, any woman who gives me a little bit of attention, will probably become my next baby's mama. That's why Tristan Thompson is generally
a struggle
trendy.
band.
And the Kardashians should be happy
He's
for
a
the
struggle
privilege
bandit.
that they get from their whiteness, that they're not being called the single mothers and baby mamas that they really are. But go ahead and take a look at this video, and then we'll come back for further commentary.
Tristan Thompson is a BITCH for this.
All right, TikTok story time. Dun dun dun. Take a wild guess at who that is right there, with the girl sitting on his lap, in his ear. Tristan Thompson. Yep. So Saturday, he played against Milwaukee Bucks, and afterwards decided to hit up the club in Milwaukee that I so happen to be at. He walks in, he sits down directly next to me, and within a few minutes, I ended up recording my best friend dancing in front of me. He saw the flashlight come on, and he snatched my phone out of my hand. I have never seen a man click X on a video so fast, thinking that I was recording him. Why was he worried that I was recording him? Because he brought a whole female with him to the club. My husband caught on to what was going on, saw Tristan Thompson with my phone in his hand, and snatched it back out of his hand. Tristan proceeds to stand up, looks at my husband, and says, "No videos, please. I'll take a picture with you if you're a fan, but no videos." I wonder why he didn't want any videos taken of him. Could it be because he just publicly apologized to Khloe Kardashian after having a baby on her while they were trying to work out their relationship and potentially get back together? That's exactly why. Tristan Thompson is a dog. You have Khloe Kardashian raising your daughter, and you're out here
And
messing
the
with
other two
these
women got his
Kim
kids
K
too.
wannabe
Hold up.
girls in Milwaukee? Get your
While we just talking about Khloe, you got his first baby mama, which Khloe stole from him. She was left to raise the baby by herself. So now Khloe gets to know what it feels like. She gets to know what it feels like. And then the third baby mama, now she gets to know what it feels like. Why are you up there talking about, Tristan got her home watching his daughter? Well, hello, he got two other sons. Let's get it together now. Let's go.
life together, bro. And for those who don't believe me, like my video and I'll show you proof of the picture he took with my husband.
Now, you guys saw that video and you saw Tristan up in a club with another woman. It was literally a very short clip. He looked like he was cuddling up to her, having some drinks. And you also saw the video of the woman who broke the story to TMZ giving the backstory. She basically told you guys how she even discovered this and why she posted it. Now, for me, I wouldn't have posted it for free. I would have sold the story. But she apparently gave it to TMZ because she wanted to go viral. But whatever, everybody got gold, so I'm not knocking hers. But listen, Tristan is a clown, we know that, but no more than Khloe, who refuses to get some self-esteem and stop dealing with this. In the comments, people were saying, well, who cares because they aren't together. But here's the thing. When Kanye was in that car complaining that he got the same woman of no color who was obviously keeping him away from his children that he fantasized about and said he wanted to be with for like ever, he was actually talking to Tristan Thompson, who was also at that party with Khloe. So I don't really understand people saying, well, they're on a break. How do you take a break and you're still dealing with the issue of him having another baby? This is just simply too soon. But when a man doesn't respect you and when a man doesn't feel that he needs to protect you from anything, which is clearly the case in this trash relationship, because Tristan is letting Khloe publicly deal with everything. He could at least be protecting her from these different children that's coming in. He could be using condoms. He could be doing anything that would show that he actually has a little bit of concern for her, but he's not. But my question is, even if they aren't together, it doesn't make it any less wrong for him to be out with another woman after confirming that he's already fathering another child from cheating on her. Now, if anybody wants to believe that it's okay and he gets a pass, you can believe it, but to me, he doesn't. If I'm on break from a relationship, I'm not giving the man a pass to do what he wants. My expectations still apply, and I expect him to be loyal and respect me even when on a break. If he's on a break, that means he still wants the opportunity to come back to the relationship. So why are you out with other women? And see, Tristan looks like he's trying to move on, but Chloe won't let him go. And I'm telling y'all what it's going to take for her to let him go, but y'all not believing me. It's going to take him creating a child with a black woman. It just is what it is. Now, you guys have seen a few comments, and even in those comments, the men were saying that if she's going to keep taking him back, then why can't he keep cheating? And really, to me, this is a valid question. Now, did it come from the people who have a right to ask that question? No. But at the end of the day, it's a valid question. If you're not going to have any standards, expectations, or consequences, and you're going to take them back each.
Did you know that drinking the recommended 10 cups of water a day could make you fatter? It's true. New research.
Just let the man cheat in peace. At this point, it's just like, Chloe, nobody cares. Nobody feels sorry for you. First of all, you're getting back what you put out there because you had no respect for your friends' relationships, and you think that people don't know it, but the internet, especially the black side of the internet, is undefeated. We bring up everything that you ever did as far back as we can possibly bring it up just to show you why you're getting this karma. And Khloe Kardashian have consistently and consecutively violated her friendships with other women, those women being black women. And see, this is because I told you guys about the pathology. There is a pathology in some women of no color where they feel like they have to be taking something from a black woman. I feel like Khloe Kardashian is one of those women. And if you look at her background and her history, that's what it is. And I feel like that's part of the reason why she's clinging to this struggle bandit is because, number one, her biggest concern isn't whether he had the child with a woman, I don't think. I think her biggest concern is the race of the woman that she had the child with. Let's not get on the fact that that video surfaced of her talking about people call her an N-word lover, and we heard her with a hard R. So the bottom line of it is just because these women lay up in a bed with black men and deal with their philandering community dick does not mean they like black men. Just because they have children with black men does not mean they like black men. What it means is that they see black men as an opportunity and as a come up, and they see how they can monetize their relationships with black men. If any of these Kardashians were with men of no color, and we already know that Kourtney isn't, but look at how much Kourtney's name is in the blogs in comparison to Kim and Khloe's names being in the blog. Even Kylie Jenner's name being in the blogs. The reason they're in the blogs is because there is a marketing of interracial relationships, specifically between black men and women of no color, because these are the most beneficial relationships to the system. It just is what it is. So
exactly.
That's why it's heavily promoted. It's the same thing with Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. Nobody cared about them before. Nobody cared about them still. But at the end of the day, they're promoting the relationship because that dynamic is extremely beneficial to this system and the maintenance of men of no color's dominance. Now, I could go into more of that, but I won't do that. The bottom line of it is this is an issue with Khloe. This is an issue with her self-esteem, her self-respect, her value that she places on herself. And this is why I come on here and I tell you guys, yeah, you can divest.
Now, you have to ask yourself again, does she has low self-esteem, or was she taught that's what you do? We're not going to take away or erase the part of how, on one hand, you tell a woman, okay, this is how you're supposed to act. You be feminine. A man who got money, he's going to cheat. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And you just got to sit back and just smile and grin because you asked for this. Because that man got money and you asked for it. Now, when a man ain't got no money, he's a no good dog. It's all the same. A dog with money, a dog without money. But let's not forget how long her mother was with her father, allegedly. Let's not forget that. Look how long the mother was with Bruce Jenner. And with Bruce Jenner, him always thinking the whole time that he was the wrong ex, if you know what I mean. She had to put up with a lot of stuff with Bruce. These are the things the kids saw in the house growing up. So when you rich, you kind of put up with no, poor people do too. I take that back. When you in struggle love, this is what happens when you in struggle love. You put up with people's crap to look good for the camera or just to say that I have the man. But it's another struggle bandit who likes making women single baby mothers, which the woman does play a part in too. She has every right to bag it up. Listen, no glove, no love. No glove, no love.
Yeah, you can swirl, you can do whatever you want to, and you should. You need to open up your options. But just understand that with any man, regardless of race, you're going to have to set standards, boundaries, and expectations. And if you don't, you are going to be dealing with a trash bag of just different races. You're going to meet the same men. They're just going to be packaged differently, because this isn't an issue of who you sleep with per se. This is an issue of you needing to have standards and boundaries and saying, these are the things that I'm not going to tolerate. If you do these things, you will not be in my life. It's just that simple. And that's really the only so-called vetting process you need to go through, is having standards and boundaries and expectations. And that's not anything that was taught to Black women, because we live in a Black male worshiping culture. It just is what it is. But I think that as long as he keeps it white and whitish, she'll be fine. What I want for Black women to pay attention to is that, number one, this is how Black men treat women regardless to race. Black men are not good mates because they're not socialized to be, and they don't care to be. And if you look at any study and any piece of data, it's going to tell you that they're insufficient to be a good mate regardless of the race of the woman. It's just what it is. There's no incentive to be good mates, and this is why withholding sex will not work. And it's not going to work because, one, Black men have sexual options in other races of women, and two, even if it did work, it will be temporary, because there's no real desire to change, nor do they value women enough to change for them. They're running around out here thinking they're a prize. And this is the product of being raised in a Black male worshiping culture. And two, no matter what race you are or the race of the man, you need to have standards, expectations, and boundaries. And you also need to be willing to carry out a consequence if those standards, expectations, and boundaries are violated. And this is what you're not seeing in this dynamic between this preference, Khloe Kardashian, and the same Black man, Tristan Thompson. There's a lack of boundaries, expectations, and standards here. And had Khloe had some expectations beyond his Black dick and given her enough drama for a storyline, she wouldn't be publicly humiliated consistently. It just is what it is.
To me, I'm a lot stronger. You're like than you a man hater. No, I'm not. I just don't let people me over. And when you cheat on me, you're gone, and you're not going to do it again and again and again. I'm sorry. That's not normal. That's not respect. That's not what boyfriends do to their girlfriends. So I'm not going to let someone do that. I'm being protected and loving you. Okay.
Maybe it's not humiliation to her. Maybe as onlookers, we're looking at this like, okay, I wouldn't tolerate this. Why do you keep getting with this dude and he's going out and disrespecting you constantly? She might not care about that, because at the end of the day, she's probably thinking about, number one, he ain't doing it with Black women, and number two, she's going to get paid off of it with that boring show that's going to be on Hulu. They went from having their show on E to having it on Hulu, because at the end of the day, this is how they make their money. They slum with the underling males of society, get humiliated over and over and over, and then they transform it into money and a storyline for a reality show, because what else do they really have? They don't really have much. So at the end of the day, this just is what it is. But I want Black women to learn from their preferences and them getting the same Black men. Learn from what they're doing that is wrong, which is lacking standards, expectations, and boundaries. And that is why everybody's going to get the same Black man. It just is what it is. Until there's an incentive that's firm enough and strong enough for Black men to change, they're not going to change. And you certainly shouldn't live your life waiting for them to change. Go out, explore your options, find the best man for you, regardless to race, and just have standards, expectations, and boundaries. These are things that's going to protect you from the trash bag bandits of society. And if anybody tells you that you can simply withhold sex or do whatever, and you're not combining that with getting standards, expectations, and boundaries, they're lying to you, and perhaps they have none themselves. That's why they're not telling you that this is what's important. Because at the end of the day, and I'll end it with this, I already said that exploitation is in the nature of humans. And if you don't have boundaries, you will get exploited. This is Black women's core issues. Yet people keep telling us we need to lower our standards, we need to withhold sex, we need to be miserable, we need to control Black men's behavior. And no, all you need to do is get you some standards, expectations, and boundaries, and be willing to set consequences. And you will save yourself a lot of dust, heartache, and disappointment. It just is what it is. But get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this. Again, I just felt like this would be a good example for Black women on why you need standards and expectations. If you guys think that it's okay for this man to go around and be with different women, even though he just literally told this woman that he's fathering the child with another woman outside of their relationship, get in the comment section and let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. When you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell and subscribe to all notifications so you'll know every time I go live and when I upload new content. Thank you so much for your support. I'll see you in the next one.
Black men, I need you to pull out and stop coming inside women that you don't want to have a family with. Great.
Yeah. You gotta tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance, so you only pay for what you need. You gotta do it fast.
Woo! New personal record, Limu!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
And expecting of you, then one of them needs to counteract a false narrative that you don't have any other options other than struggle. Well, that's something true. Black women have always done. And struggle love should never be one of them. So I strongly believe in choosing the best man. And that is regardless of ethnicity or race. Who is the best man for you? And being single is far superior to being in a relationship full of trauma, drama, and dysfunction. Unfortunately, what has happened is that in the Black community, because struggle love has been communicated, has been promoted, has been sustained, and Black women have been indoctrinated with the idea that a man should not have to provide, protect, or provide the same support that he is requiring and assuming and expecting of you. Then a lot of women, unfortunately, have lowered a standard and expectation, and it has worked to Black women's detriment. When we look at Black women in America, we see that so many Black women have had to shoulder all the responsibility of child rearing. We see that Black women and children are living at a disproportionate level of poverty and in a disproportionate level of crime-ridden areas, neighborhoods, and communities. And so what has happened is Black women's support and loyalty has been weaponized against us. Black women have been expected to mule, to cape, to be the superwoman, to never have a rest, to never have a break, to not be able to rest in femininity, to not rest in hypergamy. It's really a very toxic and dysfunctional practice that's happened. And the problem is that when you have a man who chooses not to be protective of a Black woman, to not support a Black woman, to not want the best for a Black woman, to not be a lead, to not desire to provide and protect, that is a very opportunistic and predatory relationship. There's no other way to describe it. And if you look at any other community, there's no other group of women that is expected to endure that scenario and to participate in such a practice where she's being expected to play both the feminine and masculine role. It's impractical. It's irresponsible for a man to put that sort of weight on a woman and to expect that. It's extremely selfish. And it is a practice that unfortunately some women, instead of looking out for other women, because they have coddled their sons, they have indoctrinated and conditioned other women to be mules for men, and have indoctrinated their daughters-in-law, any woman that they come in contact with the idea that it's their job to take care of a grown man.
Exactly.
Well, that is a very unfortunate and very harmful practice and mindset and philosophy. And it's very important that we dismantle that idea that Black women are the only group of women that should be used as mules and used as perpetual capers, and to be marching and fighting for and supporting and protecting and providing for grown men who do not reciprocate, take the lead, or do the same. No woman should be treated like that, and certainly Black women should not be delegated
What is going on, guys? I am
to
back.
such a unsavory, impractical, and unfavorable task. And this is one way that you know that this practice is something that's completely voluntary and arbitrary, because there are men who will subject Black women to struggle love, and then once they attain success, will immediately step up their game, step up their behavior, step up their ambition to acquire the woman that they prefer. When you start reflecting on it, if you have not already, you will recognize that this is not proposed and promoted in any other community of women. Not every man in this group, but too many men in this group are offering Black women the lowest level of support, effort, or ambition in a relationship, and no reciprocity. Any other group of women, the men are expected to be the lead, to provide, to protect. And that is the framework for patriarchy. There is an exchange in a relationship. There's a reason why in previous eras, and even in some cultures now around the world, that a family either selects the mate, or a man had to first prove himself. He had to prove that he was worthy of marrying a woman. He had to prove that he could take care of her. He could prove that he could provide stability and security for that woman. Because if not, then he didn't meet the standard. Then he didn't make the cut. He wasn't considered suitable. And now we have grown men who, because they have been coddled and placated all of their life and told that they are the prize and to only think of their own needs, that they don't have to contribute in relationships, that women are there just to provide sex, money, a place to stay, to support them, and that there is no reciprocity or anything they need to contribute in a relationship.
Do you know what the best online business to start right now is?
Yeah? What?
Oh my...
there's been so many movies produced by other men, and even unfortunately, some women who help perpetuate Black women caping and muling and participating in struggle love. It's reinforced these very toxic notions that in a relationship, only a Black woman should be contributing. And so you have grown men playing video games all day or on the internet all day while the woman is working and providing the support, borrowing her car, dropping her off and picking her up. Black women are being indoctrinated and conditioned into thinking you should date felons and lower your standards and help a brother out and build a man up. But when do you see the reverse? When do you ever see a Black man, it being promoted for him to date a felon? You wouldn't. You don't see it being promoted that he should date a woman with 5 babies father. When that happens, that woman is denigrated and ridiculed. And yet a man can have 5 children by 5 women and not only be considered a catch in this community, even though he has not settled down with any of those women, even though he has been comfortable impregnating those women, but not marrying them, any of them, he can still be considered a catch. And also there is a lot of hypocrisy and disparity between what is expected of Black women in a relationship versus Black men, or what Black women are expected to endure in a relationship versus other groups of women. And it is just totally insulting, and it is completely impractical, and it's unsavory and unappealing to expect that Black women should have to pay a tax or a toll of going through struggle, drama, and trauma just to be in a relationship.
Now, remember, guys, say no. You don't have to. Okay? Now we got stop. This is just some of the things that I say. Stop dating potential. The potential in anybody. Or stop seeing their potential unless it's your kids. Oh my goodness, would you please? Stop seeing the potential in grown people unless they are your kids. It's okay for an adult to have a potential, but it's also their job to bring it to light. If they have a dream, they dreamed it, they need to be doing it. Now, you can help them out like you would help anybody out if you could. But helping somebody and just being there for them while they do it, you're wasting your time. So waste the time. They'll get to where they want to get to it and leave you. Stop denying yourself love and safety. You've been doing it too long. Don't deny yourself love. Don't deny yourself safety. Stop trauma bonding with men. Stop listening to their stories of all their problems. I'm talking about grown men. Everybody got problems. The grown man tell you about his problems, and he don't tell you what he's doing to fix them problems. That's struggle love. He is not for you. He's still a little boy in a grown man's body. Struggle love is little boys in a grown man's body. And once you come in as the mother role, because anytime a man lacks, you come in as the mother. He might as well just, that's why you think he call you mom? Why do you think these men call some of their girlfriends mom? They don't be like baby. They don't think of no sweet little name, booby, boo, love, my darling, my love. It's mom. And y'all women like, yeah, he call I'm him mommy. No, he really means it. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but he really good. Bother him. That's all day. He really means it. Ma, you cooked? Ma, is dinner done? The house clean? Ma, I'm bringing some friends over. Ma, I'm not coming back in. Ma, the friends I'm bringing over, can you cook something? Ma, I need this. Ma, I need that. Ma, I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. Can you do this? Can you do that? And all you saying is for the love of my man. For the love of my man. You don't become a mama to a grown-ass man. So, hey, Miss Leo. So I don't want to hear nothing about I don't want no kids. You got a grown-ass kid. You got a grown-ass kid sitting in your house, but you don't want a kid. If you didn't want no kids, then you should have got you a grown-ass man. How about that?
Struggle love is an indicator of a man's lack of value for a woman. What struggle love epitomizes is the grooming of Black women to have a sustained trauma, drama, or dysfunctional dynamic when it comes to romantic relationships. Black women are groomed to expect men not to provide or protect, groomed to take on the strong Black woman archetype, and then conversely be criticized for that.
What if you could make a full-time living online, getting paid for your advice? You might not know this, but there is a surge of people launching brand new.
For Black women, the experience in America is one where older people have helped to sustain and replicate struggle love. Now, does every family reproduce struggle love? No, not every family, but there is enough of a consistency and a commonality that we see struggle love now playing out decade after decade and now generation after generation. Black women are expected to both be feminine and masculine.
Hello, Rock.
Encouraged to take on the roles of both the man and the woman. Black women are expected to receive less in return for being involved in a relationship than any other group of women. There is less return on an investment for a Black woman by far. Because whereas in other communities, a woman can expect provision and protection, Black women are not afforded those, and they're not luxuries, basics. Black women are expected to take on these low budget, great value, Dollar General relationships and treat them as if they're a prize. And it begins with older people who have already been participating in struggle love. For men, they are the beneficiaries of struggle love, so they have an incentive to continue this paradigm. For women who have participated in struggle love and who themselves were groomed to it, they are repeating the cycle. And you have relatives that are promoting relationships with men to Black women when they would never promote the reverse if the Black woman had the characteristics of these males that are being treated as a prize. So men that are felons are being promoted as a great catch, as a prize, when the opposite would never be true for a Black woman. Their relatives would be telling them to stay away from her, that she's going to bring all sorts of problems and struggles because it would impact her work history and different programs that she could access. Now, a man that has 5 children by 5 women in this one community are somehow seen again as a prize, whereas a Black woman with multiple children by multiple men is castigated, denigrated, criticized, and ridiculed. So the relatives are not encouraging a Black male to get in a relationship, enter into a relationship with a Black woman that has those children. But you see here again the consistent hypocrisy and the moving of the goalposts for Black women and the different standard that is exacted when it comes to a woman versus a man. Black women historically have been taught to think of herself as Black first and then a woman second. But if you look at the time of the civil rights era on, so around the last 55 years or so, Black women were encouraged to fight for civil rights, to be a social justice warrior, to be community centric, and to think of herself as Black first. Now, Black men certainly were involved in the civil rights movement, but they clearly show a pattern where they were thinking of themselves as male first, because you can see when it comes to their relationships, they are not restricting themselves to just Black women. They are not limiting themselves. They're choosing whoever they feel is the best woman for them, regardless of race. And they will even tell you now in their words that we don't owe you or you don't own us. So they feel no such restrictions that Black women have taken on and been groomed to perpetuate. Black women have been told Black love, Black love, Black love, and to just focus on Black men for romantic relationships. And that has really undermined Black women, because when you have a smaller number of Black men than Black women to start with, and then when you factor in different things like incarceration, men who solely date other races of women, then the pool for Black women has already been significantly diminished. Then for Black women to be told to only select from this group, a group that marries less than any other group of men, well, it puts a huge burden on Black women, because Black women are the only group of women that are being told to just focus on this one group of men. But yet this group of men certainly are not just focused on Black women or restricted to Black women or only dating Black women or only marrying Black women. So Black women are conversely groomed and indoctrinated that other groups of men are not interested in Black women. And see, this is the part where it really becomes about control and being coercive, because what's happening is that Black women are being gaslighted and misled, and through media that is produced by men who want to limit Black women's options and police Black women. They are limiting Black women, and in this way controlling your choices so that it limits you to just struggle love if you believe this mantra and if you allow yourself to be indoctrinated. But it's very popular and it's very common, and this is the Black woman experience in America, is that Black women are groomed for struggle love, groomed to be a part of the struggle love matrix. And that's why it's so important for Black women to be cognizant of the fact that this is the only group of women that is being coerced in this way. And that conversely, they're not going to take on anything that seems struggle-like. But they don't mind a Black woman enduring struggle love for them. So we've got a lot of hypocrisy here. And we see that these men, when it's a woman that they aspire to be involved with and they know that struggle love will not work for her, they will be very intentional about increasing their earnings and aspiring to do better and to elevating themselves so that they can procure the woman that they prefer and that they truly desire. And that is why Black women, it is clear that these men are not struggling simply because they don't have any other option. This is of their own will and volition that they choose to engage in struggle love and to pull Black women into this dynamic. They don't try to be better They don't try to present themselves, too many of them, not all, but too many of them, don't aspire to do better and to excel and to help elevate themselves above struggle of and to not bring Black women into that dynamic. Instead, they seem perfectly content. And that's why the media that they produce willingly promotes Black women being mired in struggle of. They do not promote a notion that Black women deserve better than that. They promote a notion that Black women should feel at home in struggle of, should be acclimated to struggle of, should be perfectly content with struggle of, and should not expect anything other than to endure struggle of. Now, there's a real problem there. And it's very important for Black women to recognize this. And I don't know fully if it's cognitive dissonance or also Stockholm syndrome, but it is very dysfunctional. It is a very toxic practice. It is something of a epic proportion for Black women to have been offered the least in relationships and for it to be seen as a prize. There is something very distorted that has been going on, that has been occurring, that makes these struggle of relationships seem like there's some sort of benefit to Black women when they have seriously undermined the quality of life for Black women for the past 6 decades, ostensibly more. But we can see it more evidently because now we have statistics, we have social media. We're really able to now ascertain what have Black women gone through under the struggle of matrix. And there has not been a great return on investment. It's been a huge liability and not an asset for Black women. It's been a burden. It hasn't been a benefit. It's been a burden to Black women to sustain and be a part of and engage in struggle love. And it says a lot for a group of men. It speaks volumes for a group of men to not want to aspire to lift women out of struggle love or not to even engage in struggle love, period. To not say, I'm going to present myself first as a leader, a provider, or a protector before I even enter into a relationship with a woman. There should be a concern about, I don't want to bring a woman into that. I don't want my children living in neighborhoods full of crime and violence. I don't want a woman to go through trauma, drama, and dysfunction. And in other communities, you see that the majority of women are married to men of their own racial demographic, and they are also married, and they also have a lower rate of poverty for their children, a lower rate of violence towards their children. They're not enduring all of these different terrible characteristics and facets of struggle love.
Hey, nephew.
But that is why it's so important to look at the value and what a man values. Because when he values monogamy, marriage, community, and legacy,
You can't do what today,
that
Jess?
does not involve increasing
You
or
can't do what?
sustaining the struggle love matrix. Engaging
Well,
in
feel
struggle
better,
love,
Jessica.
giving men the benefits of marriage
I hope you
without
feel
any of the
better.
responsibilities of marriage, suffering trauma, drama, dysfunction. All of these things have undermined Black women's spiritual health, physical health, emotional health, financial stability, and it has not created the optimal legacy for subsequent generations. Black women, please disconnect from the struggle love matrix. Please disconnect from the struggle love dynamic, the struggle love abyss. It is a sunken place for Black women. It is no place that we should be. No other women are being subjected to these conditions. No other group of men feel entitled to ensnare their women in struggle love. It is a disgrace. Black women, please continue to level up, be blessed, stay far from the struggle because you deserve better.
Now remember, the struggle loves go back and forth. Just that I happen to be a woman who deal with men. But struggle love go with men and women too. I'm not leaving you men out. The same will apply for both. Don't be in a struggle relationship.
Happy New Year. And in this video, I want to talk about the importance of vetting. Vetting is so very important because as Black women, we know that there is the struggle of promotion. We know that a lot of Black women have been groomed to date down and to build a man. But it's really important to recognize what the mentality is of so many of the men that Black women are encountering. When you look at the different stories in the news, when you look at many of the different videos that you're seeing by different content creators that are encouraging Black women to flee struggle of, and that whole build a man mentality, there's some commonalities. There are some consistencies in the stories of what you are hearing that Black women are encountering out in the dating world. And a woman may be looking for companionship, may be looking for affection, attention, looking for someone to share her life with. But what you're seeing increasingly is that a lot of these men are looking for help.
Oh dear.
They're not looking for a true companionship. They're not looking for someone who has a lot in common with them. They're certainly not looking for love. They're looking for help. And because we know in the Black community, the struggle love dynamic is set up so that a woman will be the main provider or the only provider, and that she will take care of a man indefinitely for any litany of excuses that is made, and that she is supposed to feel like he is a prize.
He's going to sleep.
And that it is her job to help prop him up and to build him up and to speak encouragement into him so that he can be the provider and protector that he truly should have already been before he even met her. So we know that the dynamic is completely distorted, but the reality is that it takes time to shift from that paradigm. The good thing is that there are more and more content creators, Black women creators, that are producing videos and that are helping Black women see the many deficiencies and the problems that have been created by being involved and engaged in struggle love. But everyone hasn't woken up. Every woman has not recognized the indoctrination and the grooming and how detrimental that has been to Black women, both individually and as a collective. But a lot of men are asking for help. And I can think of older men in my family. I can think of older men that I've encountered over my life. And I don't recall them begging women for money and asking women for money and living off of women. But I really see that a lot more now. It seems like there are so many men, I'm not saying all men, but there's a lot. There's a lot of men who are very comfortable asking women for money and living off of women. And it's despicable, but it's very common. And when you have men that have been raised in the Black community and they have been coddled by their mother, taken care of all their life by various women in their family, they don't have to do anything and they are pedestalized. Because so many Black women have been Black male identified, these men feel that it's always going to be a woman's job to take care of him. He never develops a sense of being concerned about others' welfare, having empathy for others, or feeling protector mode. He never engages in protector mode. He never engages in provider mode. And so what is happening is that these men, upon meeting a woman, they're very quickly going to try to rush a Black woman into a relationship. They'll do the love bombing, very quick to try to move into your house. Do not move these men into your home. A man should already have his own home, his own residence. And unless y'all are getting married and you are practicing hypergamy, which would mean you're moving into his home or he's buying a new home, there's no way a man should be moving into your home. But that's one of their tactics. One of the first dusty tactics that's going to be used. And the dusty behavior can happen with men of any race or ethnicity.
Yes, ma'am.
So be mindful. But
Yes,
the
ma'am.
dusty playbook is that he will very quickly try to move into your home.
Yes,
He will
ma'am.
very quickly try to fast track and accelerate the relationship. Now, knowing that Black men have a higher level of unemployment and underemployment, if you move this man into your house, there's no telling how quickly the unemployment is going to become evident or is going to kick in. So now you have a man that's living in your house. If you make this mistake, he's living in your home, he's taking over, he's now, if you have children, eating up their fruit snacks and drinking up the juice boxes. And I love some fruit snacks, so I definitely don't want anybody eating up the fruit snacks. But he's eating up the fruit snacks, he's taking over, he's controlling the cable, he's constantly on the internet. Now he wants to borrow your car and use your car during the day, so he's gonna drop you off and pick you back up from your job while you're working, and he's doing his frivolous activities during the day because now he's unemployed. Or you now understand fully that he's only working part-time and here and there and arbitrarily. But by now he's in your home. Once you get someone into your home that's one of these opportunists, it's difficult to get him out. And in all likelihood, because he's already burned all of his bridges, because he's already couch surfed with most of the people in his family, his mama may be tired of him sleeping in her basement, or she may not have room for him. She may have actually moved away from him so that she doesn't have to house him anymore. So the reality is he doesn't have anywhere else to go now. He can't get a place of his own. And this is another thing to note. In the Black community, because Black women have been viewed for so long, Black women have been taking the lead financially because there's no other choice, and have been carrying grown men and have been paying not just 50-50, in some cases 80-20 or 100-0. So these men only have a place to stay because of a Black woman. If a Black woman, and if all the Black women were to leave the Black community today, a lot of these men would become instantly homeless because they cannot afford a lease on their own. They cannot be approved for a lease on their own. They don't have the income and the earnings, particularly in light of that high unemployment rate, which has been consistent for decades, consistently. So he's now in your house. He doesn't have anywhere else to go. Now the problem becomes that if you discover who the true him is, because he's only going to be able to fake it for so long, now he's in your home. He's living there. He's getting mail there. He's a resident. So now he doesn't want to leave. You've recognized who he is. He's an imposter. Dr. Jekyll has switched up from Mr. Hyde. And so now you're recognizing who he truly is and that this is a loss. You're taking an L now being with this man, being involved with him. You want him out. Well, these men can become very hostile now because they have nowhere else to go. They don't want to be homeless. They've been entitled all their life. And so they're very used to a woman taking care of them. They have a belief that Black women in particular are supposed to take care of them, that Black women are supposed to be so happy to have them because of the scarcity model. She should feel like she has won such a great prize just having him, even though he's not contributing anything except stress and drama. But just having him in her life, she should feel so overjoyed that she should be more than happy to take care of a grown man. So when there is pushback, these men are becoming violent. When you look at, unfortunately, so many of these cases where Black women have been harmed, she has wanted to terminate the relationship and or move him out of her home. She wants him gone. and then he becomes violent because he can no longer control her. She is cutting off his supply of all of these assets that she has. He can no longer utilize and exploit her for her money, for her home, for her car, for all of her assets. He can no longer utilize them. And when you are coming from a very egocentric, self-centered, narcissistic in some cases, an exploitative mindset and belief system, you believe that a woman doesn't have the right to reject you and to put you out of her home. That you should now be treated as a king, even though you have no kingdom, even though you have no resources, but that she should feel like you have done her a great favor. And so they are lashing out because ultimately they do not have a high valuation of Black women. They don't have a high valuation. They only value themselves, and they believe that it's a Black woman's duty to take care of them. And that's why it's so important to do the vetting. If you are going to date, it's okay, certainly. It's preferable
men and
to
women,
be happily single than to deal with the struggle of and the drama and the trauma and the dysfunctional, low value relationship. But if you are going to date, it's so important to do the vetting. Men don't need to initially know where you're working, where you live, coming to your house, getting comfortable at your house. Vetting is the time when you're considering dating someone to see if they even meet the criteria, if they meet the standard, if they even rise to the level of what is acceptable for even a date. So all of this should be done before even a date is agreed to. And the running this man's name through different databases, because there are women who've come to find out that this man has all sorts of felonies, convictions. In some cases, they might even be wanted by the authorities. So it's very important to perform all this due diligence so that you know who you're dealing with. Use your discernment. What a lot of these men are preying upon is women that are lonely, women that are looking for companionship, women that want to feel loved and don't feel it, preying upon women with low self-esteem. And they're seeking out the single mom who they feel they can prey on because she's already been hurt and been wounded in a previous relationship in some cases. And so they're preying upon her insecurity, or preying upon her because of the drama that she's already experienced previously. They're preying upon women that have been recently widowed. They're just preying in general upon women. And so it's so important to be cognizant of that, because again, your evaluation system is not necessarily someone else's valuation system. You may have pure intentions, but a lot of these men are showing they don't have good intentions for women, particularly Black women. They don't have good intentions for us. They are not looking for love. They're looking for help. They're looking for a woman to take care of them. They're looking for a woman to use her resources. They're looking for a woman where they can nest in her home. They don't want to build anything. They want to come to your ready-made, built home, and they come want to come into a scenario where everything has been done and they can come rest in hypergamy. They're not about to allow you to engage in hypergamy. And that's why you hear so many of them in that manosphere talking about women being gold diggers. But women can't be gold diggers when you're making on an average of $41,000 a year. That's from the Social Security Administration. And I have shown that graph and that image before. A woman can't be gold digging when you are unemployed and consistently underemployed. There's nothing to gold dig. But there is going to be a false narrative that to expect a man to be a provider and a protector is gold digging, only because most of those men can't meet the standard for you to even be able to be a gold digger. They can't even meet the standard for you to do that. But yet, conversely, they are acting hypogamously, so they are going to indeed seek out women that have more resources than they do. They're just minimizing and devaluing hypergamy only because they can't extend hypergamy to a woman. They don't have the resources. But they're more than happy to seek out a woman who has more than them. That's why those are going to be some of the initial questions. That's why you see this narrative where consistently they're leading with, what do you bring to the table? They're leading with the 50-50 because they can't afford anything else. They don't have the resources, they don't have the income, and they're not interested in enhancing their income streams or increasing their earning potential. That's why instead of being out, learning a new skill, learning a new trade, going to school, or building and creating, they're on the internet all day playing. They're on the manosphere acting as a keyboard warrior consistently, day in and day out, instead of elevating themselves, instead of trying to increase their income from the $41,000 on average. They're focused on the wrong things. And then they expect to latch onto a woman who has already gone to school or who has learned a skilled trade, who has been consistently working and now has a high income and has her own home and has a car and has a 401k, who has savings, has stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency, all the above. So that's what they're looking for. They don't want to go out and seek this out themselves. And that's another red flag. When a man is happy to indulge in your resources, but doesn't want to go get his own, who's not a go-getter, who's not ambitious. Anytime a man always has time to hang out with you, he always has time to come over to your house, he's always available during all times of the day, there's something wrong with that. There's no successful man, there's no true CEO, there's no businessman who's making major moves, who's always got time to be on the internet, who's always got time to hang out, who's always got time to come chill at your house. It doesn't happen. Those kind of men are busy because they're busy making moves. They're busy being providers. They're busy creating. They're not sitting up looking for a woman that they can nest with in terms of moving into her nest. They already have their own. They're not looking for a woman to give them something. They already come complete and stable. We have to be so incredibly discerning, and we have to use a lot of scrutiny because there are so many of these men, and particularly now that winter is truly here, that are looking for some place to lay their head. They've been couch surfing. They've been sleeping in their mama's basement, grandmama's basement. They're looking for a woman to lay up with and to exploit her resources. Plain and simple. That's what they're looking to do. And they're going to rush you into a relationship and love bomb you to make you think they're going to be the best man ever so that they can quickly move into your home and take over and be treated like the king that they feel that they are. No kingdom, but they want all of the treatment as if they are truly a king.
Yeah.
The only thing they've accomplished is a long list of women that they've exploited. And they want to add you to the list and to make you the next woman they're going to prey upon and leech off of.
Exactly. Stop calling these men daddy. Stop calling them number one. Stop with the struggles bullshit with grown men. If their mother could not help them become a man, their daddy didn't help them become a man, that's something they have to do now. They're over 18. They so quick to say we grown. The minute you say you grown, that comes with responsibility. That comes with a lot of responsibility to yourself. To yourself. not to other people. It's a lot of responsibility comes to yourself. Once you say, hey, I'm 18 years old, I'm grown. That means now you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta eat yourself. You gotta get clothes yourself, a car or a ride yourself. And that also means taking care of your mental issues, that any trauma that you may have gotten from childhood, the minute you say I'm grown, that is now your job to fix you. That is now your job to fix you. You could no longer blame mommy, daddy, if. Now you could say because of the way I grew up, or because of my mother, or because of my father. Okay, now how do I change this? How do I fix my life? How do I do better? Or you could stay a leech, or you could stay a begging Billy, or because even though we struggling with these struggle bandits, it doesn't take away I got my own. Men, get your own. It doesn't take away these women that you're going up against have their own. You have to keep finding you new ones that fit your criteria of a grown man, a young boy in a grown man's body. You got to find somebody that fits that criteria. Who's going to take care of this grown man? Men, get your own. Exactly. Men, get your own. It's not going to take away the fact that that woman got her own. You now got to find somebody else who's going to accept your bullshit. But my thing is, it doesn't matter if the woman accepts it or not. Are you happy with it? Are you happy as a man or a woman, or as a grown-up adult that cannot take care of yourself? Are you happy with not finishing school, not having no education, can't get a good job, gotta have a woman take care of you, never could go on no trips, can't do no family, nothing, because you ain't got no money? So you're gonna pick these women that have a job, low self-esteem, and who's gonna take care of you, then their kids. They're gonna take care of you first, then their kids. Does that make you happy as a man? Take away all the bullshit that consists of, oh, she does this, oh, she does that, oh, she does this, well, she get on my nerves, she always whining. Take away all of that. Are you happy as a man is a question. Not does the woman make you happy, but you only get one life. And as a man, are you happy with yourself? Are you happy with your accomplishments? Are you happy to be 25 years old and doing this? Are you happy to be 30 years old and doing this? Are you happy to be, hey, I'm 35, I'm doing? If you're still doing the same thing as a teenager or a young buck, doesn't that make you a young buck? Doesn't that make you a young buck? What respect do you expect to get from your girlfriend? What respect are you looking for? Because you is a man? Now, you're supposed to get respect. You're a human being. But far as being respected as a man, what you looking for? What are you looking for? You looking for a hot meal? No, you ain't putting nothing in that refrigerator. Looking for car fare. You must don't want to go there. You don't have none. You know, he ain't got no problems, but he gonna make you the problem. Like, I ain't got no bills, because she pay all the bills. I ain't got no real problems, but I'm gonna make her my problem. I'm gonna nitpick everything that she do. I am going to make her life miserable because my life is miserable. See how that go? My life miserable, your life gonna be miserable till she put your ass out. And then you gotta start over. You can't disrespect someone because you don't financially think they meet. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's why a lot of women single. That is not true. You can't tell. Nobody can say why anybody is single. Nobody can say women is single because of this. Men are single because of this. We would never know why so many women are single or so many men are single. We may know that for some cases, but not why that's why a lot. That's not why a lot of women. How many women have you spoke to? For you to answer that question, you yourself would have had to speak to over 5,000 women. Remember, we got billions. We got billions of people on this earth. How many people in the United States? How many people have you spoken to in the United States to say this is the main reason why blah, 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 blah? You could assume. We talk about, no. You talk about the Black community, but that's talk between you and that person. How many, out of all the Black women in America, how many have you spoken to find out why they truly are single? Like, I can't say, well, all men are single or majority of men are single because they ain't about shit. That's easy to say. They ain't about shit. Even with the ones with money, they ain't about nothing. That's why they single. That's not true. I can't say that. I don't know why they single. I don't know. I know some reasons why they could be single, but that doesn't make it true. I'm not in your household. I'm not in your life. I don't know what happened. So I can't say this is it. But I can say this could be it. This could be the reason. Shit, you got some people that's out here. I'm telling you, you just can't win with these people. Ain't got nothing to do with money. Sometimes a man or a woman, depending on who, they could do the slightest thing. And that person could, I don't like how he eat. It's over. What are you chewing? Leave my bag. Before you put a hole in it. Yeah, you never, leave my bag. You never know. So let's not put them assumptions out there.
And when a man has always been entitled and has been coddled, and women have always caped and mewed for him, he does not develop any desire to be a provider or a protector unless he truly decides to make that a value, a core value. And people live according to their core values. So it's important to determine what is a man's core values. That's what has to be vetted at the beginning. What does he hold dear? And not only what does he speak about, but what do his actions reflect? How does he live his life? Because again, if he's asking to borrow your car, if he's always available during the day, if he's spending all sorts of time on the internet, but yet he's unemployed or underemployed, these are all huge red flags that you should run from immediately. Shouldn't even warrant a first date. Shouldn't even be a first date based on those attributes. Definitely shouldn't be coming to your house. Absolutely not. He doesn't even need to know where you live. Even if you did go on a first date, he still doesn't need to know where you live, because the last thing you need is someone who is exploitative, constantly popping up at your house, talking about, I was just in the neighborhood. No, you weren't. You live all the way across town. No, you weren't. But here they are. They know where you live. They can case out your house. They can be lurking. They can be watching who's coming and going. And they're just trying to also glean more information about your comings and goings and about your activity and behavior. So it's not a good scenario. There's too many men who unfortunately have this exploiter mentality, have this user mentality, are looking for help, are looking to be taken care of. If you have children as a mother, this is even more significant. The vetting process, it's even more substantial. The weight of it, the vetting, it's so important because of the fact that you have children. And if you engage with one of these opportunists and then they are rejected, there's harm that could come to both yourself as well as your children, or you could be taken from their lives. And they're now motherless because an opportunist couldn't have his way. These men, based on all of these different cases that have played out, that have been shown in the news, are very emotionally unstable. They're unstable in general because they're unstable in terms of their finances, but they are emotionally unstable, maybe somewhat mentally unstable, but certainly emotionally unstable. And because they have been told yes all their life, when a woman rejects them, they lash out because they do not value others. They do not respect boundaries. And because they have always been an opportunist and that has been enabled, they feel that they have the right to also exploit you. And if they don't get what they want, they have a tendency to lash out because unfortunately, they don't feel that they have anything to lose. And a man who has nothing to lose is definitely a dangerous man to ever get involved with. Because if he doesn't have any place to stay, he doesn't have a home, he doesn't have his own residence, he doesn't have family that will take him in, he doesn't have a car, he doesn't have stable income, he may feel like, if I harm her, at least I know that she won't be doing well without me. And he knows that behind bars, he's going to have 3 meals a day, and he's going
3
to
hots
have
in the cot.
the other amenities that the prisons offer now. So he may actually feel like he's winning, even though that's sick, it's twisted, it's demented, but that is the reality. And some of these men are walking around and they may appear on the surface to look like they have it together, and they are really like a walking demon. And that's why it's so important to use that discernment. Use that discernment. Because ladies, God has given you a purpose on this earth, and being entangled and ensnared with a man who's an opportunist, a user, and who is looking to leech and live off of women, he's not part of the purpose. He is the detour, and he's a distraction. And the only thing that these men bring to your life is drama, dysfunction, trauma. And they feel like because of scarcity that you're going to accept any type of behavior just to have him in your life.
So we talk about love, life lessons, and leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. Ladies, as you guys know, this is my safe space for women. Gentlemen, you are more than welcome to sit in. The minute you come for my ladies, the minute I come for you. And my Black game is strong. I promise you it is. I like to keep it respectful on this channel. If you want to be disrespectful, leave nasty comments, please do it someplace else, just not here. Okay, now you should say no to struggle love. So right now, a lot of us are quarantined, right? And if we are struggling or in struggle love, it is hitting us, right? It is hitting us. And as a woman, it just hits different, right? There is something inside of a woman that wants to feel safe, secure, protected, nurtured, loved, and just thought of, right? We want to know that our men or the man that we select has our back. We want to know that the man who is allowed to share our bed, or the man that we cook for, or we clean for, or we have children by, thinks enough of us to make sure that we have what we need and a lot of our wants, right? But if you have selected a partner and your relationship is based on struggle love, you are feeling some kind of way. And ladies, I am not here to point fingers. I am here to say, hey, I know what that feels like. I have not always had the situation that I have. But ladies, struggle love is just not the way, right? Now, the reason I say that struggle love is not the way is, number one, there's no guarantee, right? You are dating potential. But potential has nothing to do with your present, right? Potential is future. You're talking about your present. So if you need something now, or if you're hungry now, or you need a place to live now, or you need clothes now, or you need bills now, bills paid now, potential is not going to cut it, right? Do not date potential. Only date what is, right? Because I tell people this all the time. Before you say, I do to a man, you need to know that he's going to provide for you, and he's going to care for you, and he's going to love you, and he understands his role in your relationship. A lot of guys want us to struggle with them and build with them and help them, knowing good and heck well that if the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't even do it, right? I also think that when you say yes to struggle love, you are denying yourself safety and security. I'm sorry. It's weird to me that, no, it's not. Actually, it's called evolution, right? There's a shift going on in society. And the shift is that a lot of women are becoming the men that they want. I'll say it again. A lot of women are becoming the men that they want. They're bossing up. Bossing up is almost like a male term, right? But a lot of women have adopted it and have adopted operating in their masculinity because there is a part of them that does not want to be unsafe. A lot of women choose to be masculine, operate in their masculine energy, pursue careers, get out there and be just assertive and shine and flourish in the workplace because they just don't want to feel unsafe. And a lot of women say, you know what? I got to make sure that I got me no matter what goes on. So I believe that when you say yes to struggle love, you are denying yourself safety and security. Another thing about struggle love is time consuming. Don't nobody got time for that. Ladies, listen to me. Don't nobody got time for that. Don't nobody got time for that. You know why? Nobody got time for that? Because we don't got time. Listen to me. You do not want to get with a guy who's going to drag you along, right? It's interesting. I see this all the time. Like if a man wants something, he will beeline and go after. He will chase it with all of his might because it's a desire. And the more that thing eludes him, the more he chases, right? He just gives chase. Now, if a man understands that if he wants something, he has to fervently pursue it, why would you want a guy who doesn't understand that, right? It's almost feminine. Listen, struggle love is time consuming because a lot of times instead of that person taking initiative for their life, they want you to help them take initiative for their life. We don't want that. We want leaders, ladies. We want leaders. We want men, right? We want providers. But the thing is, if there is a guy who is sitting there waiting on you to help him do something and struggle with him, yo, he doesn't value his time, and he sure as heck is not going to value yours. So say no to struggle love. The next one is, do you know when you say yes to struggle love, it decreases your value as a woman? A lot of times when women are helping men build, you also become masculine. You start taking on many of the tasks that he should be taking on. So therefore, in order to help him operate in that space, you have to take on the traits needed to flourish in that environment. That's when women become very masculine. They don't take care of their looks. They don't take care of their hair. They don't take care of their skin. They don't take care of their nails. They don't take care of their feet. They don't dress feminine. They don't dress girly. They're not sexy. They're not perfumed up. And you know why? Because it's really hard to be ultra feminine when your man is asking you to exist in his masculine. You just can't. As a woman, it decreases your value, right? Ladies, why would you do something that knowingly decreases your value? See, this is the thing. We're supposed to be like fine wine. We just get better with time, right? Our value is supposed to increase, not decrease. It's almost like you're hustling backwards. Ladies, say no to struggle love. The next one is, some of this struggle love leads to permanent poverty. It just does. I've seen many examples of this in my own life, where a woman has married down, thinking that she can't do any better. And in marrying down, that relationship has dragged her down, right? And pretty soon she is stuck in a cycle of poverty that she feels like she cannot get out of. She is used to living a low-class life. She is used to having low-class things. Then she moves into a low-class neighborhood. And then her children become low-class. And she wonders why she feels low-class. Because you got with a low-class man, sweetie. Say no to struggle love, because sometimes it can lead to permanent poverty. And the last thing I want to talk about is another reason to say no to struggle love is trauma bonds, right? A lot of us don't bond through healthy relationships where we're in struggle love. We bond through trauma, traumatic experiences. We build our relationship off of negative things, right? That's not a relationship. If you say yes to struggle, you are saying yes to trauma bonds. Because when a man feels inadequate, he will lash out, he will become angry, he can become abusive mentally, and God forbid physically. Like, I was reading this study saying that now that the quarantine is going on, a lot of domestic violence has ensued. Like, it's crazy. Like, men need outlets, right? But you're not his outlet. You're not supposed to be the person that takes on his trauma. Or you're not supposed to be the whipping boy or the beating post for this guy because he can't get his life together. No, honey. It says that before God gave Adam Eve, he gave Adam what? A job. Ladies, if a man is serious about you and has carved out a space in his life for a wife, there are certain things he's going to have in place. For example, so you know you want to buy a house, right? You got to qualify for the loans. You got to get a good job. You got to save your money. You have to improve your credit score. You have to do all these things just to qualify to get the house. Then you have to start bidding on the house, right? Ladies, you are no different. Make these men qualify. They have to come with the bare necessities: a good job, stable finance, a good home. Like, they should be able to put you in a place that is comfortable. And that's just minimal. That's minimal. Ladies, say no to struggle love. You are better than that. You're worth more than that. Come on, ladies, look at yourself. You give life, you hold life, you sustain life. There's no reason why you should not have a good life. Get with the man who understands that, who's willing to give you that life, who has that life now and wants you to be a part of that life. Not struggle with him to make that life. It's a con. Don't ever struggle with a man to make a life. A man should be inviting you into his life. So, as I always say, love is life, life is love. You guys have an awesome evening. Bye.
The number one reason most people fail to create long-term change in their health is they're trying too hard. I know that sounds crazy, but bear with me. If you're tired, out of shape, or worried about your health, you might be tempted to make big changes, like starting
Say no to struggle love. Do not date potential. Only to be masculine, operate in a masculine energy. Want something, he will beeline and go after. He will chase it with all of his might because it's a desire. And the more that thing eludes him, the more he chases, right? He just gives chase, gives chase, gives chase. Now, if a man understands that if he wants something, he has to fervently pursue it, why would you want a guy who doesn't understand that, right? It's almost feminine. It's almost feminine. Listen, struggle love is time consuming because a lot of times instead of that person taking initiative for their life, they want you to help them take initiative for their life. We don't want that. We want leaders, ladies. We want leaders. We want men, right? We want providers. But the thing is, if there is a guy who is sitting there waiting on you to help him do something and struggle with him, he doesn't value his time.
Hey,
He's
real
he's
talk.
not going to value yours. So say no to struggle love. The next one,
Hey, sweetie.
is, do you know when you say yes to struggle love, it decreases your value as a woman? A lot of times when women are helping men build, you also become masculine. You start taking on many of the tasks that he should be taking on.
Exactly.
So therefore, in order to help him operate in that space, you have to take on the traits needed to flourish in that environment. That's when women become very masculine. They don't take care of their looks. They don't take care of their hair. They don't take care of their skin. They don't take care of their nails. They don't take care of their feet. They don't dress feminine. They don't dress girly. They're not sexy.
That's not
They're not
everything to
perfumed
being
up.
a
And you
damn
know
woman.
why? Because it's really hard to be ultra feminine when your man is asking you to exist in his masculine. You just can't. As a woman, it decreases your value, right? Ladies, why would you do something that knowingly decreases your value? See, this is the thing. We're supposed to be like fine wine. We just get better with time, right? Our value is supposed to increase, not decrease. It's almost like you're hustling backwards. Ladies, say no to struggle love. The next one is, some of this struggle love leads to permanent poverty. It just does. I've seen many examples of this in my own life where a woman has married down, thinking that she can't do any better. And in marrying down, that relationship has dragged her down, right? And pretty soon she is stuck in a cycle of poverty that she feels like she cannot get out of. She is used to living a low-class life. She is used to having low-class things. Then she moves into a low-class neighborhood. And then her children become low-class. And she wonders why she feels low-class. Because you got with a low-class man, sweetie. Say no to struggle love, because sometimes it can lead to permanent poverty. And the last thing I want to talk about is another reason you say no to struggle love is trauma bonds, right? A lot of us don't bond through healthy relationships where we're in struggle love. We bond through trauma, traumatic experiences. We build our relationship off of negative things, right? That's not a relationship. If you say yes to struggle, you are saying yes to trauma bonds. Because when a man feels inadequate, he will lash out, he will become angry, he can become abusive mentally, and God forbid, physically. Like I was reading this study saying that now that the quarantine is going on, a lot of domestic violence has ensued. Like it's crazy. Like men need outlets, right? But you're not his outlet. You're not supposed to be the person that takes on his trauma. Or you're not supposed to be the whipping boy or the beating post for this guy because he can't get his life together. No, honey. It says that before God gave Adam Eve, he gave Adam what? A job. Ladies, if a man is serious about you and has carved out a space in his life for a wife, there are certain things he's going to have in place. For example, so you know you want to buy a house, right? You got to qualify for the loans. You got to get a good job. You got to save your money. You have to improve your credit score. You have to do all these things just to qualify to get the house. Then you have to start bidding on the house, right? Ladies, you are no different. Make these men qualify. They have to come with the bare necessities. A good job, stable finance, a good home. Like they should be able to put you in a place that is comfortable. And that's just minimal. That's minimal. Ladies, say no to struggle love. You are better than that. You're worth more than that. Come on, ladies, look at yourself. You give life, you hold life, you sustain life. There's no reason why you should not have a good life. Get with the man who understands that, who's willing to give you that life, who has that life now and wants you to be a part of that life, not struggle with him to make that life. It's a con. Don't ever struggle with a man to make a life. A man should be inviting you into his life. So as I always say, love is life, life is love. You guys have an awesome evening. Bye. Don't.
All right, guys. Remember, struggle love. Love is not to be struggled. Love, you can go through the good. You can go through the bad. You can even go through the ugly. But it is not to be struggled. You should never need to know where somebody stands as far as with a job, with their life, with their ambitions, with their dreams, with their hopes, with their blessings, what they believe in. You should never be with a person and need to know where they stand on anything. You should meet somebody who works, depending on your age. If you is of older age, and if it's not because he hurt himself on a job, and he's getting disability and he cannot work, you are not to date anybody who does not have a job if you're an old person. Somebody who lost his job, looking for a new one, you will have to see how long he keep jobs. If he kept a job for a long time and then lost that job, you know that he's a reliable person. He just hard times. It happens to everybody. Even rich people, it happens to. Can you imagine being rich? And then one day you go to buy something and your account is frozen? Their accounts get frozen too. Never be with somebody if you got more questions about them than answers. You got people who've been with their mate for a very long time and don't know a lot about them. They got more questions than answers. Get them answers. Where you work, how long you work, how long you been working there. You got brothers and sisters, how do y'all get along? How is your family values? Before we make a family, or I invite you into my family, how is your family values? How is your mother? How is your father? How is you growing up? I need to know, did you have the right instructions before you come to me? Because you can't come to me half-ass and think I'm going to praise you, treat you like a baby, put the boob back in your mouth because you're used to mommy's milk. I'm not your mother. I'm not your mother. And you're not my father. Now you want to take care of your woman, thank you. But I have to make sure that I can get certain things done. Now the next video is going to be about baby mamas. Do you date them or don't you date them? I'm going out and coming back in. If you like this commentary, if you got any ideas, leave it in the comments below. Do not forget to like the video and subscribe. Please join the family and subscribe. I see you guys right back in about 10 minutes, if that long. But peace out, like, comment, and subscribe.